Child sexual abuse is rampant. I mean, it should have been kind of like in your face with the Michael Jackson story and stuff like that when that stuff came out, but then all these other stories came out, right? Where family members were doing things with people and were actually touching on a lot of cases where there was some stuff like that in the families, right? You hear Kevin all the time. It's feeding his ego, I'm sure. But the story there, daddy there, okay? Then we have daddies in the Menendez case there. Then we have who else? I'm sure I pulled up a bunch of them. And then the Mackenzie story was one from a long time ago. I believe Rosie O'Donnell. Let me say something just so I don't start making up a story and it's just like, what are you talking about? Yes, so Rosie O'Donnell was sexually abused by her father. Okay, that's another one. So this is actually a very common thing, you guys. And I don't think it's been brought up enough. It's so like you don't want to even talk about it type of story. The problem is that these fathers are just general rapists, so they would rape the public, they would rape their kids, they would, you know what I mean? There's this thing to it. Like they don't have a line. The thing that's most disturbing to me in this whole thing, beyond that, he sees raping everybody on TV. I don't need. I hate the fact that Fox News is trying to do this conspiracy thing to, mask the fact that they're all fucking rapists because they are. Y'all been groomed. The fact that you could sit there and watch a video of some guy raping some girl because you believe that forcing rape and yourself on someone is totally fine. And by the way, about racism, you shouldn't need to know the history to treat somebody like a human being. So that's what I said. I go, there's an inner thing to this. There's a deeper thing to that thing because you shouldn't need to know someone's history to treat them as a human, right? I mean, it's just kind of a basic thing. So if you're treating women like shit, you're treating everybody like shit, and you're just a shit human being. Let's just keep it, straight out, that whole thing. So I don't need to know their history. It's good if I do, because then I'm not ignorant to, certain things. But I shouldn't need, the word need, quote unquote, to treat somebody. So you're watching, everybody. It's not even, oh, this thing is in, everybody's watching this. And they're like, it's totally fine that this dude is raping everybody. And we have Bill Maher promoting, well, I got to keep trying, until I get her. So they're all like outright telling you, I'm a rapist. I'm a rapist. So all of us women know he's a rapist. Except for the ones that like being raped, that like to watch this stuff straight on. There's a lot of victims out here that literally desensitize this stuff. And they're watching it and they're like, that's totally cool, right? Because I can self-reflect. I'm like, because I could self-reflect. Unlike these people who are like, it's too much. I'm not looking at myself as a bad person, or it's not even necessarily a bad person. It's a fucked up person. And you need to figure out like why you're into rape. Okay, so there's a reason why you're into rape. Because of childhood. But this thing here is actually like, holy shit. Because if you started hearing him talking about the age thing, I didn't hear that. So he had a whole thing going on about who cares about age, knock them out. Because every guy was knocking us out, right? And for anybody to defend this or try to put it off on some other, bullshit, whatnot, the truth is, you watched it and you were fine with it. So can you explain to me why you're fine watching rape on TV? I just would like to know this question. Fox over there, you rapist. And they're off going on this big tangent about pedos. You're the pedos. You're the one that want to cover up for pedophilia. Yippee-yee-yaw. You know what I mean? Right here, y'all. And this is disgusting because somebody handed their kids to him in some earlier stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding? Because he's telling you, I'm a sexual pervert, I got a sexual addiction. And then he starts raping everybody on TV. You hand your kids to him. This is worse than the Michael thing, because Michael's out here going, I'm an innocent like that thing. This guy's like, I'm a rapist. I'm a fucking rapist, and I don't care about any ages, and throw it out the window, and we'll get you when you're asleep. He's outright saying it. I don't need any other victims to tell me that. I don't need to know their credibility. I don't need any of that. Because I'm listening to him and I'm watching these videos, and then there's photos in, what year is this? It was right before he married Katy Perry. 2010. And then somebody hands him the kids. Now, I think on a normal day, you might sit here and look at this and go, I wouldn't think anything of it. It's like, you should think something of it from a person like that, right? See, the common sense went out the window, so you'll just hand your kid to a child predator. Okay, that's one story, right? That's 2010. Funny enough, somebody must have been on top of this, because in 2008, who would want, this is Daily Mail. People talk, I mean, this thing about Daily Mail, I was like, but they're on top of these stories, and because I keep finding all the links to them. They seem to be the main media source. I was like, I don't know for this stuff. Who would want their children to be pictured with Russel Brand? Comedian makes his first UK appearance since Sachsgate or something. And yeah, 2008. Being picked by a famous actor to accompany him to the premiere of the latest Disney film. Talk about that Disney stuff. Disney film is a treat most children would treasure. But when the actor is Russel Brand, perhaps some parents might have second thoughts. The disgraced comic's two young guests seemed delighted with the attention last night as the comedian made his first UK appearance since the furore sounding his prank call to actor Andrew. And then it says, and then it's what it said. Oh my God. No, it says, would you lend him your children? Russell Brand arrives with two young guests at the UK premiere of Adam Shankman's film Bedtime Stories. And then they show two pictures of him kissing children. It says, don't embrace me. Brand gives his young friends a kiss for the cameras, and she's just like, And the boy's like, Yeah, Brand turned up late to the London premiere of Disney film Bedtime Stories, in which he appears. He ignored reporters and walked past the waiting press without stopping to speak, acknowledging their requests and interviews. But he did pause to sign a few photographs and pose pictures with children. And that's easy access to touch their butts and do all sorts of things that, a normal parent wouldn't be like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just that thing going on here. And you see, because he's groping, he needs a touch, and then they just hand him their kids. So for him, that's wonderful. However, in an indication of better times to come for British actor, Brand was tipped by co-stars of the movie to be big in the U.S. Sandler described him as a fine gentleman, adding, America is big on Russel Brand. Likewise, his female co-star had nothing but positive things to say about British actor and comedian. Carrie Russell said, Russel Brand is a charming creature and I would like to work with him again. Okay, so Adam Sandler loves the rapist. I keep bringing this story up because it was Rose. It was fucking Rose that had a fit that Adam Sandler put his hand on someone's knee. Okay. And I talked about this and I've remembered it ever since, because for me, I was just kind of like, God, that's like the safety zone. I was like, is this the big deal? It is a big deal. It is a big deal. It's the starter of a thing. So, they should all keep their hands to themselves. Yes. But I'm just saying, Russell here is a total rapist and he's a child predator. I don't know if Adam Sandler said any jokey things like that, but, not to this extent. And this guy's out in the open, like, get them while they're asleep. Who cares about age? And I'm going to rape men and women on freaking TV. And now you're letting him touch a bunch of kids. And he's openly saying he's into kids. Like, hello, universe. I don't know. You're all fucking rapists. That's the whole thing about it. And they don't want to take it in. They don't want to take it in, but they are, because that's how I wouldn't have got raped so many times as a kid if you guys were not all rapists. And then when you heard about it, you were fine with it. That's the thing. That's the thing. So I think it's terrible that any other victim would be telling other victims to go target other victims, or, try to spin a conspiracy to make them not believable. But they should believe you. They should believe you. The ego of that's pretty crazy. But yes, we have victims like that too. I believe real victims like me, myself, and I, because I'm a narcissist from fucking hell. But you shouldn't really take these other people seriously. They need to do stories just how they did ours. And, this whole thing, they're not supportive. They're all about themselves. That's why I said, I go, when you have young abuse and child shit like that, you don't come out right, okay? And it's not a fixable thing. And so to me, it's kind of a pointless thing to even try with some of these people, because the seriousness of that is permanent damage. So here's the thing with this story. If I hear, me personally, if I heard that some dude was into kids and you guys are handing kids to him, I'm going to out every fucking victim if I had to stop this son of a bitch, because he's going to create lifelong damages for another victim. And many victims, because he's a mass predator. So, yeah, I'm not blaming the victims themselves in the case. There's just everybody else that's watching it, right? So it's easier for me, if I see it, to go do that shit. For victims, it's a lot harder, okay? Because, but yeah, if it meant that I had to do that, yes, I would do that. And they can get mad at me all they want. Like, it's just sort of that thing, because I just saved somebody else. Like, you already had your damage done. There's nothing I could do about it other than try to stop this guy. This is the way my brain operates. And I'm not going to sit back and go, God, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. It's like, fuck that. We got to stop it now. So he's been touching kids all over the place. Yeah. Everybody's fine with it. Adam, what do you have to say? I was like, what is that? I didn't see I didn't see like 99.9% of this stuff. I don't recall it. I was like, I'm not a fan of his. Like, I just see him and it's like, oh, there he is. Okay. Anyway, next, like that type of thing. So, I'm just like, oh no, you guys were totally fine with it. I know it because you guys were arguing with me. Let's see what it says. Hollywood friends Carrie Russell, Russel Brand, and Adam Sandler arrive at the UK premiere of Bedtime Stories. Hey, Rose, why didn't you out fucking Russell, at the same time of Adam? I have a question about that. You want to turn it into a conspiracy? You had the table. I was listening to you. It's very interesting. Asked about Brand's reputation, the actress added he was well behaved. There were children on the set at all times. Oh, that did not age well. Asked about Brandon's reputation, the actress said he was well behaved. There were children on the set at all times. He was well behaved with the kids with his hands all over them. Okay, and kissing them, by the way. But see, that was seen as totally fine to rape your face back here. They were trying to argue, what? There's nothing wrong with me putting my lips just randomly on your fucking face. I'm going to give you some herpes. You know what I mean? Like, that was the whole thing. Men were promoting, let me just put my hands on you. That should be okay, right? Let me put my hands on you. You have no agency. Let me put my fucking goddamn mouth all over your fucking children. Because the presidents were doing that shit, right? The men, they wanted your kids. Anyway, so he's doing this. And that's the thing. He's a random stranger. Who wants some random stranger with their fucking mouth all over your child? You know what I mean? Like, he's a pedophile. So you just were like, here's my sacrificial lamb, to this fucking pedophile. It's not funny at all. So in October, Brand and Jonathan Ross cause an uproar after leaving lewd messages on the answer phone of, I was trying to understand the story. I guess other people know the story. I was like, what happened? Yeah, Brand and Jonathan cause an uproar, leaving lewd messages on the answering phone of Faulty Towers actor Sash. Is that it? Brand resigned from the show while Ross is currently serving a 3-month suspension from his job at BBC. And didn't they blame the girl? Something weird about that. So I was like, I didn't even know that happened. And so then it says, the movie sees Sandler and Skeeter Bronson, a hotel handyman whose life changed forever when the stories he tells his niece and nephew start to come true. Also, the premiere was X Factor reject Diana Vickers, who exit from the show on Saturday, left fellow contestant in tears. Okay, do we care about the rest of this? Let's see. All right. The kids are having fun in the photos, and yeah, but the other photos, yeah, like they're victims, dude. You let him put his hands all over the victim. Freaking A, dude. Don't embrace me. I love it. They're on it, but like people are viewing this, right? It's like they have knowledge. Like they're writing a story just like this. It's 2008. So you have some comprehension here that he's doing something with children here. They don't want it. Cause you put in quote, I mean in the thing, who wrote this? It says, "Don't embrace me," like because the kids don't want it thing, and he's a predator, and then yeah, and you said who would lend him your children, right? So they're on it even in 2008. That's what I'm saying. The public is the one who's the rapist because you're watching this, you're looking at it, and we keep saying these guys are predators. They're like, no, you're the sick one. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure y'all got raped as a child. Who is the writer on this? It just says Daily Mail reporter, so I don't know who did it. I wondered if it was a girl or a guy. Like, I'm just kind of curious because I'm like, somebody be on it. If it was a guy, I'd be kind of shocked. It's probably a female writer. I don't know who did it. Daily Mail tell us. I was like, because somebody was on top of this. All right, I just want to put that out there because that's very disturbing, and nobody should be trying to turn this into, attention on me thing, and then trying to help this guy out in any which way, because it's more telling about you of the things that you're into and that you still haven't worked through your issues. And unfortunately for me, it's very depressing. Like just knowing that, we're kind of like desensitized to the flags are all over the place, right? Like everybody's raping all the kids, because we're all groomed, it's that kind of thing. Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a prude thing either. What happened here, because the damage is from that stuff to him, and then he passes it on, right? And you guys all got touched, and so when he's touching everybody, you're like, what? My daddy did that to me. He loved me. That shit, you're all fucked, you know what I mean? You're fucked.